crafty friends, welcome back to my channel for another card making tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made these Just Because beautiful floral stenciled embossed cards using some supplies from Concord and Ninth. So the set that we're using today is the Blended Petals set. Like I say, it's from Concord and Ninth. It comes with, or rather you can purchase, the stamp, the coordinating dies, and the layering stencils. So I have all three of those and I will be using all three of them on my card project today. So to get started here, I've already gone ahead and pulled out my mini Misty. I've set that large floral image on the door of my Misty, prepped my cardstock with an anti-static powder tool, and I'm going to dive right into the heat embossing here. So as you can see, I'm going and using some Versamark ink, stamping it twice, trying to get a nice solid impression. I always like to try to stamp twice, especially when embossing. So I'm just going to go ahead, give that a good press, and then bring that over for my embossing powder. So for this project that I'm showing you today that I showed you at the beginning, I'm using this gold embossing powder. But I did want to note that for this project, I did go ahead and make a few kind of sisters or twins to this card, just kind of changing up the embossing to get some different looks. So throughout the video, you might see me pull out, some black stamped items there that are stamped in black. There you can see on the left, stamped in black with clear embossing on top. This one that I'm showing you now is just clear embossing, and then there's that gold in the middle. So whenever I'm using my Misty and pulling stuff out, I find it really easy to just go ahead and make multiples. So that's essentially what I'm doing today. Okay, so back to the project here. For my sentiment, I've gone ahead and pulled out a couple more stamps from that stamp set. I have the large Just Because. That's going to be, of course, on the front of the card. And I'm also going ahead and stamping out this little sentiment that says, "You're one of my favorites." I thought it would be really cute just to add to the inside of the card. So you'll see me adding that later, but on the inside, in case you didn't notice it in the first look photos, it's because it's actually on the inside of the card. So just going to go ahead and, as always, just melt that just until it's smooth and shiny. I want to be careful to not overheat my embossing. We don't want to go ahead and cook that into our paper. So for the coloring today, like I say, there are layering stencils that you can get. So that's what I'm going to be using. So I've gone ahead, pulled out my Make Art Station. And I've also pulled out just a big roll of this mint tape from scrapbook.com to mask off any extra areas so that I don't contaminate, anything I don't want to while I'm going ahead and doing the stenciling. So for the stenciling today, I am using these Catherine Pooler mini inks. For the florals, I have 3 pinks selected. So those are Pink Champagne, the medium kind of color is Sparkling Berry, and the darkest one is Sangria. And then for the leaves, I've gone ahead and pulled out 2 colors, kind of aqua tones. The lighter one is Hot Tub, and the next color is Skylight. So as you can see here, one by one, I'm just working my way through the stencils, masking off any areas, to protect my project. And as you'll see, I also like to just grab a microfiber cloth and wipe off the stencils in between. I find that this really helps with not getting ink on my fingers, to really reduce the chances of me contaminating my project with inky fingerprints. So that's why I do that. Not necessary, but if you're clumsy like me and you're prone to fingerprints on your projects when ink blending, you might want to try that and see if that helps you, with ending up with less fingerprints. So as you can see here, moving on, I'm now on the leaves, just kind of shifting those stencils around. Once again, masking off what I don't need with that mint tape from scrapbook.com, and then going ahead and blending on the colors using some small blending brushes. These are also Catherine Pooler blending brushes. I love them. They're just great to have in the craft room. So moving on to some die cutting here, I've pulled out the coordinating dies. I'm going to go ahead and trim out the Just Because. You can see this one here is in black. It's going to end up on one of the other finished projects. And I'm also going to go ahead and trim out the tiny You're One of My Favorites sentiment. So for this sentiment, I thought that that little kind of banner shaped die was a little bit bigger than what I wanted. So what you're going to see here is I actually went ahead and positioned it towards one end of the sentiment. Then I went ahead, zipped that through my Gemini Junior die cutting machine. So you can see there it's super crooked, but that's totally on purpose. And then I'm going to take that die and reposition it back on that same sentiment, but now just centering it more to the other end there to trim off kind of that other side. So you can do this with your dies, any kind of long rectangular shaped dies, to really get a custom fit for your sentiment. So I love doing this, very easy. I find it much easier than trying to trim things down with scissors and try to make it even and that sort of thing. Off screen, I did go ahead and also die cut out the floral image, but for the sake of time, I did just edit that out of the video. So moving on to the background today, I wanted something that was a little bit of interest, but not too crazy, because I really wanted the florals to be the star of the show. So I went ahead and pulled out this watercolor palette from Prima. This is their Shimmering Lights watercolor pan set. And it has some beautiful kind of gold and metallic colors. And it also has that nice pink in there. So I thought kind of using a combination of the kind of gold and pinks would really go well with the embossing and the colors that I chose. So just going ahead and splattering those on using a paintbrush and a little bit of water in a Distress water sprayer. So now it's time to go ahead and assemble the card. So first things first, I did want to note that I did also go ahead and trim out just an extra white die cut here out of some scratch paper to go behind that big floral. If you've seen my videos in the past, you probably know that I love stamping up or stacking up any kind of die cuts for more dimension. I do prefer this to using tons of foam tape. I just find that they hold up in the mail a little bit nicer. And then I did also do the same on that, on the Just Because as well. Just because I wanted to, once again, just add a little more dimension. So for the assembly here, I've got an A2 size card base, just going ahead and adding on that watercolor splattered background. I did trim it about 1/4 of an inch off each side to leave like a nice 1/8 of an inch border around the edges. Then I have some Barely Arts liquid glue, going to use that to adhere my floral just kind of on an angle across the card. It kind of follows the angle of the splatters. I tried to splatter kind of top left to bottom right, as that's the way I wanted our kind of eye to focus across the card. And just going to go ahead and layer up that Just Because on the front. And then, yeah, here's that cute little sentiment that we die cut out earlier. Going to go ahead and tuck that in the inside. Thought it would be cute. You know, just because you're one of my favorites. Such a sweet sentiment. So here are the other cards that I made. You can see the one on the left there that's stamped in black. I did switch out the leaves and make them the navy color, but the florals in the middle, I used the same inks. And then this one here with the clear embossing, use the exact same ink colors as on that first card, just a very light hand while blending that to get a different look. If you want to see some more crafty inspiration, I invite you to check out the videos here on the screen. If you like what you saw, please give this video a thumbs up. And as always, I welcome you to subscribe so that you don't miss out on any future crafty inspiration. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye.